Cassie. Welcome to my channel. Kind of in a new place. There is a reason for that. But I'm gonna ignore the towel because I have a recliner chair cover, but it's drying at the moment. And this chair is like fox leather and it is flaking over everything, so the towel kind of protects me from getting all of that on my clothes. But anyway, so different little location because I'm going to be doing some craft things at the moment. I kind of came up with a thought for a TBR game that I kind of want to start playing in January. And so I'm going to be kind of working on that here in a minute. And I thought, you know, I'll do like a little time lapse of me kind of working on it a little bit. But that'll probably be closer towards, I'll probably put it closer towards the end of the video, but I'm doing it right now. But I'm probably gonna like go over my December TBR, tentative TBR, before I actually show you the clip of me working on my new TBR game that I hope that I will start using in January. And it's not something that I'm gonna start working on and then just not finish it so that I can actually use it. And hopefully it is also something that when I use it in January, I will continue to use it. And it won't be just like a, oh, I'm gonna use it in January and then I'm not gonna use it in February type situation. And it's more to just kind of add a little bit of structure to my very chaotic, tentative, moody reading during the month, I guess, you know, and to just add a little bit more structure. You know, I think I'm only going to do like 5 turns with it, so it's 5 books that are just like for sure I should read and that I will try to read, and then like I can just mood read around the 5. I don't know. We're gonna see how it works in January. But anyway, let's get into my December tentative TBR real quick. And then we'll get into me making my board. Okay, so I'm kind of in a paranormal romance rom-com kind of mood at the moment. And so one of the things that, or one of the books that I would like to read, if I can get it to come up, because it's, yeah, there we go. Maybe. Maybe. Why can't I just like blow it? There we go. Goodness. I'm having technical difficulties. Anyway. Allie Hazelwood's Not in Love. So this is probably the only Allie Hazelwood book that I have not read yet that she has come out with. And I generally give all of her books 5 stars. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. Let me see if I can't find a synopsis real quick. Although I'm sure if you've been on my channel before, you already know the synopsis because I think I put some like multiple TBRs and I still haven't read it. So go me. But anyway. So Rue Seibert might not have it all, but she has enough, a few friends she can always count on, the financial stability she yearned for as a kid, and a successful career as a biotech engineer at Klein, one of the most promising startups in the field of food science. Her world is stable, pleasant, and hard-fought, until a hostile takeover and its offensively attractive frontman threatens to bring it all crumbling down. Ellie Kilgore and his business partners want Klein, period. Ellie has his own reasons for pushing this deal through, and he's a man who gets what he wants. With one burning exception, Rue, the woman he can't stop thinking about, the woman who's off limits to him. Torn between loyalty and an undeniable attraction, Rue and Ellie throw caution out of the lab and the boardroom windows. Their affair is secret, no strings attached, and has a built-in deadline. The day one of their companies will prevail. But the heart is risky business, one that plays for keeps. So I'm looking forward to that one. Another one that I would like to read, but I have not read it yet, which shame on me because I've had it for months. Again, this has probably been on multiple TBRs. You've probably seen it on multiple TBRs. You've probably heard about it. But it is Leather and Lark by Briny Weaver. I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure. But I read the first one. And I think it was, what was it? Butcher and Blackbird. I really enjoyed it. It's like a serial killer romance type situation. So it's definitely on the darker side of things, but I still really enjoyed Butcher and Blackbird. And it's a trilogy. And the first book is about one brother, and then the second and third books are about his other two. There's 3 brothers, so one brother per book, I guess, and whoever they end up with. But I guess they're all kind of twisted and murderous in their own ways. So I also kind of want to read that one. Let's see, what else do we got going on here? Let me go to my Kindle books, because I've got Kindle books that are different than my Libby books. Let's see. What else do I want? I want to read The Corpse in the Closet by Lucy Score. If it'll let me, well, I guess I'll just blow it up. I just have to do. Okay. So, The Corpse in the Closet by Lucy Score. I am wanting to read this one as well. I read the first one, which was The Dead Guy Next Door, and I really enjoyed it. It kind of reminds me of Finlay Donovan, but I liked it a little bit more, and I think it was because of the paranormal aspect to it. And that, I thought maybe it was a little bit long, but I'll get into that, like, in my wrap-up. But I really enjoyed the first book, and I really liked the romance. And so I was just like, I really want to continue on in that series. I also would like to read Filthy Rich Vampire by Geneva Lee, which is this book here. So I read Filthy Rich Fae by her, which is the first book in that series. This one is the first book in, I guess, the Filthy Rich Vampire series. And I'll get into that in the wrap up, but I kind of want to try the Filthy Rich Vampire. I'm not quite sure like what this one is about, but I think it's about a vampire who's single. I'm having issues with words. but he's single. And apparently he has to participate in like a marriage thing, a marriage market or something or another. And he decides to what is it? He finds like this cellist Thea, and I guess he wants her to be his fake girlfriend to kind of ward off some of the vampiresses that are a little too, like, would want to come on a little too strong or something. I'm a little confused on it. But, you know, I thought it was, you know, sounds interesting. So I was like, you know, kind of want to try that. Another book that I kind of want to try out is called Twilight of Embers, which that's not what I wanted to do. Apparently, you know, just clicking buttons. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I want to go to book details. There we go. So, Twilight of Embers by Tessa Hale. Dragons of Ember Hollow. Yeah, I like the idea of dragons. So, Twilight of Embers by Tessa Hale. I do believe that it is a why choose situation. And I kind of read a why choose in November. And initially I was kind of like, I don't know, because it was kind of reminded me, it kind of had like a bully romance kind of going on. I'm not really into that. I don't know why I'm not really into bully romances, but I'm just not. I tried it with the first what was it? Zodiac Academy. That's what it was. I tried it with the first Zodiac Academy, and I was just like, I finished it, but I can't really get on board with bully romance, and I'm not haven't quite pinned down why that is. But I talked to my friend Claire, and you know, she was like, oh well, you know, it gets better, you know, it goes away. And so I was like, okay, I'll continue reading, you know, the first book. And it kind of did for the most part, and it was a short read. And so I'm kind of figuring that since it mostly went away, that the rest of it is not going to be bully romance anymore. So I'm going to continue with that series. But this is also a why choose. To get back to the point. This is also a why choose. And so since I'm kind of liking the other series that I started, that book one of that series, I kind of also want to try this one because I think that Claire has read this one and she enjoyed it. It might have been Claire. I'm not sure. But anyway, it says, I'd always wondered what it would be like to have a family. I just never expected to find it with 5 mysterious strangers who have more secrets than I could ever imagine. Getting a scholarship to Evergreen University and majoring in pre-med means I need to keep my head down and focus on my studies. But campus is full of distractions. The football god with his golden retriever charm, the tortured one with his vicious tongue, the broken boy with his determined protectiveness, the merciless billionaire with a penchant for spoiling me, and the genius professor with his brilliant mind. They make me feel like I belong for the first time since my parents were murdered, and when they touch me, my whole world sparks to flame. But they have enemies, those who would give anything to harm what they hold dear, and while they'll do whatever it takes to keep me safe, sometimes falling in love will put you right in the line of fire. So, sounds interesting. Would like to attempt to read that. And then another one I would like to read is actually a novella. And I actually read the first novella to this series. And I think there's 5 novellas in this series. And they're all like Christmassy novellas from different authors. But I read the first one, and then so now I kind of want to read the second one, and that is Mary Ever After by Tessa Bailey. I've never read anything by Tessa Bailey, so that's going to be interesting. And as it is a novella, I'm just gonna say it's like a Christmas, I guess, rom-com, and we're just gonna leave it at that, because sometimes when you read synopsises for novellas, it gives away way too much of the actual novella, because novellas are really short and I don't want to know anymore. It's a Christmas rom-com. That's all I want to know. So there's that. And then we have a wild card. And that wild card is Stephen King's Mr. Mercedes. And the reason I'm thinking about reading this is because Holly, the character in Stephen King's, one of his newer books, Holly, actually started out here with Mr. Mercedes. And I think that it's a trilogy, that she is a part of this trilogy, and this is where her beginning starts, I think. And so I want to read it first before I read Holly. And of course, I think that there might be like one other book, maybe even two, that she's also in that is before Holly. Not sure on that. But this one, it says, the stolen Mercedes emerges from the pre-dawn fog and plows through a crowd of men and women online for a job fair in a distressed American city. Then the lone driver backs up, charges again, and speeds off, leaving 8 dead and more wounded. The case goes unsolved, and ex-cop Bill Hodges is out of hope when he gets a letter from a man who loved the feel of death under the Mercedes wheels. Brady Hartsfield wants that rush again, but this time he's going big with an attack that would take down thousands, unless Hodges and 2 new unusual allies he picks up along the way can throw a wrench in Hartsfield's diabolical plans. And so I think that one of those 2 new unusual allies is Holly. So she's not like the main character in this one, but I think possibly like in the other 2 books, she kind of gains a little bit more and gains possibly a little bit more, and then finally she just kind of gets her own thing in Holly, but still not quite sure about that. And then of course I'm probably going to read book 3 of the other Why Choose book that I started. I finished the first book and I'm reading the second book, so I'm hoping that come December, I'm going to read like more of this series. And I think that there are 6 books in this series, if I'm right on that. I think there's 6 books. So hoping that I can get through the second book before December. Probably will. And then in December, I'm probably going to read books 3, possibly even like the other 4, 5, and 6, if I binge them. Like I'm kind of starting to binge them at the moment. So we'll see how that plays out. But that is my December tentative TBR. Gonna see how it goes. Hopefully, hopefully it goes well. But I'm going to start creating my board. And I'll put a little time lapse of me doing that. But as of right now, that's the end of me and talking. So if you like this video, like it. And if you want to see more by me, subscribe. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye.